Cutting sheet metal is a common task in any kind of metalworking, and a tool like the KETT KD-200 double cut power shear can make that a lot easier. The double shear cutter leaves a smooth, undistorted edge in everything but the waste material that curls up as you go. The cutters are easy to replace, but in my testing, they haven't slowed down a bit. I kinda got carried away making all these little spirals of metal and looking at the clean edges even on them. These spirals came from this edge of the sheet metal. You can see how flat and straight it is after repeated cuts. The 5 amp 2500 RPM motor is contained within a double insulated housing. The grip area is comfortable and the on-off trigger is easy to access. I know this looks like a lock-on switch, but this kind of tool doesn't need it, and KETT tells me this is just a filler. And the KD-200 is finished off with industrial-style 2-prong 8-foot cord. Of course, none of this means anything if the tool doesn't cut sheet metal, but don't worry about that. I spent a couple of days in my shop cutting up every piece of sheet metal scrap I could find, trying to get the KD-200 to not cut something well, but it kept cutting everything fine. For me, the hardest part of learning to use the KD-200 was to let the tool do its work. Throughout the evaluation, it seemed like the only time the KD-200 would hang up is when I tried to force it along. I also found that when you want to make a curve, if you lean the tool just a little bit into the curve, it keeps right on cutting, makes a nice, smooth, flat edge. This tool likes it best when you just guide it along and let it do the cutting. If you try and force it, make it go faster, that's when it wants to hang up. This really is another case of where going slower makes you go faster. And you notice after every one of those cuts, the edge is nice and flat and smooth. I even dug out a piece of 18 gauge steel that was giving me fits with my hand snipped. As you can see, the KD-200 just cruises right through it. In everything I did, the KD-200 is just easier, faster, and leaves a better edge. For me, that about covers what makes a tool valuable. Here I'm cutting some sheet metal to make floors and some shelves in a welding cart that I was building. These pieces will just lay in an angle iron frame, so I need them to stay flat. And as we've seen, that's not a problem with the KD-200. The piece fit fine, it's all nice and flat, and all I had to do was drop it in. If you want your sheet metal work to go this easily, get a KETT KD-200.